Mr. Saru is who he appears to be. The Discovery has been through an inconceivable ordeal.
Then where the hell is her commanding officer?
Captain Lorca is dead.
Welcome to our brief review and analysis of the Star Trek Discovery episode, The War Without, The War Within. If you haven't seen this episode of Discovery yet, then I suggest you get off at this stop. Prime Saru and the Emperor meet face to face right away. It was awkward.
On your knees, slave? Kelpian is my captain.
Burnham refuses to see Ashfaq. Her forgiveness will take some time. We see that what was formerly Ashfaq is now Tyler again, a kind of new man filled with guilt, anguish, and remorse. New Tyler. Discovery officially reunites with remaining Federation forces. Admiral Cornwell is not too happy about what Lorca did.
Bastard.
You see? Not too happy. The Admiral brings Saru, Burnham, and Stamets up to speed on the war. Meetings.
Starbase 1 is our only remaining sanctuary. Can you jump us there?
Well, it's 100 AUs from Earth and over a light year from our current position.
That's really close to our very own and very real Kuiper Belt. Burnham introduces Emperor Giorgio to the gang.
So I am your prisoner.
Look, Your Highness, or whatever you're called.
Stamets and Tyler meet for the first time since Dr. Culber's death. It goes better than you might expect. The crew forgives Tyler, knowing full well the unusual circumstances of his situation. Discovery discovers that Starbase 1 has been destroyed. That sucks. L'Rell tells Admiral Cornwell that the only way to end the war is to conquer the Klingon Empire. The Klingons will not stop otherwise. After a conference with the Emperor, Burnham comes up with a proposal.
I have a proposal.
The Emperor goes behind Burnham's back and convinces Sarek to go with her horrible, no-good, possibly evil plan. Discovery terraforms a dead moon with mycelial spores in order to win the war. Burnham and new Tyler have a difficult conversation. It's not me, it's you. So Giorgio and Sarek's new plan is to make the Emperor a captain? Oh boy. Ladies and gentlemen, we're almost done with Discovery Season 1. One more episode remains, the finale, which certainly promises to be interesting. However, let's muse on this most recent episode, The War Without, The War Within. Small stuff first, we get a couple of serious canon references in this Discovery outing. First, a reference to Enterprise.
This brave team will be the first to visit this inhospitable planet since Captain Archer and the crew of the Enterprise NX-01 nearly 100 years ago.
That's nice. We also learn more about the House of Dagor, the future enemy of the House of Kozak.
You would have been proud of your brother. He fought a brave and valiant battle right up to the end. It was an honor to kill him. I'm sure it was.
Technically, this is our second Captain Archer reference for the show, and our second indication of the activities of the House of Dagor. We finally learn just what happened to the ISS Discovery. It seems Captain Killy and her crew didn't last too long in the Prime Universe, but we can understand why things turned out the way that they did. Terrans are fascist supremacists hell-bent on glorifying their race above all others. So are the Klingons. But one Terran ship against an entire Klingon empire? One almost feels bad for Captain Killy. Canon issues surrounding the spore drive mycelial network technology are resolving, as we expected they might. There had to be reasons that future generations of Starfleet crews weren't using spore drive technology to get around the universe. Now we know those reasons. For one, using the spore drive requires a living navigator to be genetically manipulated, or at least a kind of navigator that must be captured or restrained. That goes against all Federation impulses regarding genetic engineering and their general respect for sentient life. Being able to access dangerous alternative realities or travel in time are powers that could cause chaos if implemented fleet-wide. Admiral Cornwell understandably declares all knowledge of the alternative universe classified. And finally, monkeying around with the mycelial network has the potential to cause great harm to multiple universes. It would only make sense to abandon this technology for now. The classification and destruction of this information can explain why Captain Kirk is surprised by the Terran Imperial universe when he accidentally transports there less than a decade from this time frame. So, the spore drive has no future. New Tyler's current predicament is tough to watch. We, as an audience, understand that Tyler isn't exactly responsible for what Volk or Laurel made him do. But Tyler still feels the guilt of these actions as if he did them under his own power. Burnham attempts to disconnect with him over it all. Stamets still has a long road to travel in order to forgive what Ashfaq did to Dr. Culber. So we can see that Tyler is going to have a rough time. He's alone, an outcast. Through all of this, we get this scene with Tyler in the mess hall, which is arguably the most Star Trek scene of the entire first season so far. Here is an example of people trying to be better than they should be. The crew knows the circumstances of Volk and Ash Tyler, and they understand the difference. If Star Trek really is about people trying to better themselves, well, here you go. Finally, we come to the plan to defeat the Klingons, which involves putting Emperor Giorgio in Captain Giorgio's shoes. The audience is led to believe that the Emperor lacks the ethical constraints that Federation characters are limited by. Desperate times call for desperate measures, right? So Emperor Giorgio can do the horrible things that'll end the war. Horrible things that maybe Captain Giorgio or Admiral Cornwell cannot bring themselves to do. However, Mira Giorgio is planning something of her own. She surely must be leading Sarek into some kind of ruse, yes? Appealing to his pragmatic logical sense in order to get her freedom, yes. But only her freedom? This Emperor must look at the Federation, and indeed even the Prime Universe Klingon Empire, as a field full of sheep, as an opportunity. Then again, maybe not. Maybe she really does want to help Burnham and the Federation, and then go her own way. Going in a slightly different direction, maybe Giorgio's real plan is to ignite the dormant or extinct volcanoes on Kronos, just like it was apparently done in the Terran Imperial universe.
In my world, Kronos is little more than a blackened mass of dust. The Klingons fight for scraps and fear certain death.
An act of genocide for the preservation of the Federation? Burnham and Saru are not in on Sarek and Cornwell's plan with Emperor Giorgio. If the Emperor tries something un-Starfleet-like, Saru and Burnham might take a stance against this pretender captain. We might get to see another mutiny with the exact same players as the first mutiny that started it all. Another instance of mirroring in Discovery's first season. Continuing with this theory, Emperor Giorgio might become a convenient common enemy for the Klingons and the Federation. And that is the secret sauce for peace with the Klingons, a common enemy. Throughout the late 23rd century and the entire 24th century, Romulans served as a common enemy, as did eventually the Dominion. Could this be grounds upon which a peace is made? This could also provide a reason for the Discovery crew to use Ash Tyler and Laurel as well. Certainly they can aid in brokering a peace somehow, or at least be useful in stopping Klingon forces. And one more bit of theorizing, since we're on the topic, and this one is out there. Will we still get a chance to see more repercussions of the Klingon augment virus? In case you forgot, the augment crisis was used to help explain the physical discrepancy between this type of Klingon and this type of Klingon. A big enough Klingon defeat might create a population vacuum, allowing more augmented Klingons, who are surely outcasts in Klingon society, to fill in major roles throughout the Empire. Or maybe the augmented Klingons are deployed as a way to keep the peace with humanity, as an expendable force to separate the Federation from the core Klingon worlds. It isn't too late for Discovery to add to this area of canon, but it is unlikely. That's it for this review. Thank you for watching. If you want to learn more about Klingon history, then I recommend a couple of previous videos we put together talking about just that subject. check them out. You might like them. And if you like this and other Trexpertise videos generally speaking, then consider supporting the channel over on Patreon. Patreon is the best way for you to help create more Trexpertise. You can find all of the relevant links in the subspace below. Thank you. We'll see you next week.